Everybody, how we doing today? Outstanding. Outstanding. Always outstanding.
Riz, we saw Eric back out today. How did he look?
Good, yeah. Good. Eric and Lucas back out today at practice. Good to have those guys out there. Obviously, we were smart with the rep count and all that, but both those guys have been working hard to get back. So good to see those guys back integrated with the team, and everything's trending in the right direction for both those guys. So that could be a positive for us for sure.
When you're dealing with a team with a fluid quarterback situation, as they are, how does one prepare for one or the other? Because is the system the same for both?
Yeah, listen, I think the Giants system is the system. I think certainly both those guys have different attributes. Some better than others for both guys, like any player. So the thing you got to you got to look and see in the past what they've kind of done in the offense that they ran. But Brian's a great creative offensive mind. They'll have a great game plan. We got to be ready for all and any, and we'll be ready for both guys for sure.
They said it'll be Locke. Are you kind of disappointed?
I'm sorry?
They said it'll be Drew Locke. At least Dable did. A little disappointed it's not DeVito after last year.
Are you asking me the Bergen Catholic Don Bosco question? Is that where you're heading with that, Matt?
Yeah.
Come on now. Just because Bergen Catholic beat Don Bosco last Friday night in Giant Stadium in the state championship, we're not going to go down that road. Just because Bergen Catholic's the #1 school in the state of New Jersey this year in football and the #3 team in the country, we're not going to mention that. We're not going to mention that at all. No, listen, Tommy and Drew are both, again, like I said, they're both dangerous players. They're both good quarterbacks. I know Drew's going to start. We got to be ready for Tommy at some point if he's gets better throughout the week and comes in. Like I said, we got to have a plan for both guys. So,
what's it going to be like for you to go back in this role this time, and go back to the place where you watched the Giants, your hometown area?
Yeah, listen, it's definitely interesting. I got to practice what I preach. Quite frankly, with what I practice, what I preach with the players. I got to stay locked in. I can't get too wrapped up in the moment. I'm trying to. I'm gonna have to shut my phone off here at the end of the week. A lot of people reaching out, family, friends. It's a little bit surreal, quite frankly, but I got to do a great job of staying in the moment, staying focused on the game plan, and not get wrapped up into that. I can think about it after the fact, but definitely a unique situation. I grew up obviously just about 15 minutes from the stadium there, rooting for the Giants, going to watch a lot of playoff games back when Bill Parcells was the coach, and so that's certainly something on the back of my mind, but. Just trying to have the blinders on like everybody else and just trying to coach the game. Yeah, go ahead. No, go.
Is it possible to do that?
Yeah, I think it's possible. I think, when you get wrapped up in a game week and you're just thinking about, I think all the hoopla prior to the game and all that stuff, but once the game starts and, the first kickoff is kicked and you got to concentrate on the game management and all that stuff, that stuff kind of goes out the window. So whether we're home, on the road, no matter where it is, you got to stay locked into the game. And so, again, I'm trying to do a great job, just like I tell the players, of avoiding the distractions during the week. And so, that's going to be important for me too.
So are you just shoving all this off on your wife, or?
We tell the players the same thing, listen, take care of all that stuff in the beginning of the week, and so the rest of the week's for football. So I try to, like I said, practice what I preach. So just trying to do that.
For Kendra Miller, the other day you called it a change of pace back. How does he kind of complement Alvin? And when you say change of pace, what do you kind of mean by that?
Yeah, well, when I say change of pace, I mean he's a different style runner than probably the runners that we've been, playing with this year, whether that's Alvin. Alvin's a dynamic running back. Please don't take that the wrong way. He's a phenomenal player, one of the best players in the league. Kendra has a different style, different approach than the other runners we have in the building. He's explosive when he's had the ball in his hand. He's obviously a playmaker. Again, Kendra's deal is going to be, getting himself locked into the game plan, the mental part, making sure he's physically ready to go, and let the rest kind of, just like I just said with myself, really let the rest take care of itself. So that's the deal with him. He can't get too wrapped up in the whole deal either. He's got to block out the outside noise and just focus on the Giants.
I feel like they complement each other. Sorry. kind of?
I mean, I didn't really mean it that way. It probably came out like that way the other day. I do think they're different style runners, so it's definitely hard to defend. But it's no different than Jamal and Mims. You know, all four of those guys. And when Taysom was running the ball, all those guys have their different little style. And I just meant that, you know, Kendra is a little bit more of a different change of pace for us than what we're used to.
What are some of the things that the Giants do well that stand out when you watch them?
Yeah, well, listen, I can tell you this. I think I mentioned this the other day. I got a lot of respect for Brian Daboll as a coach. I think he's always done a phenomenal job with the tools and the pieces that he's given and that he's had. No matter where he's been, I've coached with him at the Dolphins. I've watched what he's done at other stops throughout the league in Buffalo and New York, and they've always done a good job. He's very creative. You know, you got to always be ready for something new. They've always been able to run the ball. I think that's one of the things they've done a good job of this year with a young back. They kind of have a young back and a veteran back. They've been able to run the football, and so that's really what they're doing. They have a playmaker, obviously, and Neighbors on the outside, who I know we got to do a great job on eliminating the explosive plays with him. You look at their defense. You know, they have two playmakers on the edges. You know, between Birds and Thibodeau. We've known Burns obviously in this division for a long time. He's wrecked a lot of games for people, and so we got to do a great job of having a plan for him. They just got Thibodeau back on the other side. You know, he's those guys are a problem. We've got to do a great job of defending protecting the edge this week. That's going to be a big part of what we do. So. You know, I know their record isn't where they want it to be. Neither is ours, and so quite frankly, I can't worry about that. We got to focus on us. But you know, I know they're a well-coached team. I know what Brian's all about.
Darren, is there anybody who can do any of what Taysom Hill did offensively for the Taysom Hill offensive package, or is that the kind of thing now you just have to put it in a drawer and
well, I don't think it'd be a one man show, if you will. Like Taysom's a one-man band. You know, so I don't think that'll be the case. I think we'll do a lot of the same things with other people, and that's going to be a little bit more of a committee approach with that. You know, I've said this a bunch of times. You know, it's hard to just, Taysom is Taysom. It's really no comparison. And so, but all the plays and all the different packages and the things we run are just going to be distributed differently, and it's going to have to be, no different than just spreading the ball around a little bit. But no, it's hard to put one guy in charge of all those things because I don't know if there's another guy in the league that can do what he does.
Is there anybody who can do what he does from that wildcat position, whatever you would call that? Is there anybody who can do that from the quarterback role?
Yeah, there's a few guys. That's all I'm going to say. There's a few guys that can do that. I don't want to give too much away game plan wise, but yeah, we're going to have that stuff still in the game plan. Now who can do it and all that stuff. There's a couple different guys in the building, and we'll take a look at how it looks this week. But we've done it before with some other guys. Yep.
What is Caesar dealing with?
I'm sorry.
What is Caesar dealing with?
Caesar. Yeah, he's on the list here. He's in the concussion protocol. He came out of the game not feeling great, and so he's out. He's in the concussion protocol, but he's already completed the first couple steps. Hopefully, along with no setbacks, he should be okay. We're just trying to take it smart, go through the concussion protocol, and be smart with him.
You update on Chris?
Chris Olave? Yeah, I know he's got. I think one of the specialists he was going to see, I think might have got pushed back. God bless you. Got pushed back to next week, and so no really update. He's out here with us right now. He's in great spirits. It's great to have him around. He's kind of helping a lot with some of those younger receivers right now, which is great to see. He's in a much better place. But I know one of the meetings he had or one of the appointments he had got pushed back a little bit. So we're just going to wait for that to happen, and then we'll have an update after that.
It's the first time in a while you've had to deal with cold weather games you get to in the next 3 weeks. Is there anything you can do other than kind of just be ready?
Yeah, listen, we're going to leave on Friday. We're going to go up there. Other than getting up there, maybe just getting adjusted to the weather a little bit, earlier. Other than that, there's not a ton you can do. I mean, I was kind of hoping the weather dipped here a little bit this week and got a little colder. I was nice and cold this morning when I woke up, and then all of a sudden it warmed up throughout the day. I left my house early this morning. I was like, all right, 40s, and then all of a sudden it's in the 60s. But so no, there's not a whole lot you can do. We're going to go up Friday evening. We're going to walk through up there in New Jersey on Saturday, and hopefully we can but just kind of get out in the weather and just kind of get used to it a little bit. Other than that, there's really not a whole lot you can do.
Practicing here.
One more time.
Practicing in this room.
In this room? Well, did you think the building was cold by accident this week? So yeah, we're actually, it's not cold enough, to be honest with you. These lights are a little, come on, we gotta crank up the thermostats, yeah, no, my office was nice and chilly this morning too, so no. Yeah, you gotta be able to work in it, right? We're gonna be out there in it, so, yeah, no, but other than just kind of trying to get up there and get adjusted, there's really not much. You get out there early the day of the game and, get going, so.
Without Dexter Lawrence in the lineup for the Giants, how much pressure does that take off of what you have to do with the offensive line and protection, and how much more focus then can you put on the ends?
Yeah, well, I'll start with this. Dexter Lawrence is a phenomenal player, and it's a shame what happened to him injury-wise. I got a lot of respect for Dexter as a player. They still have a very big front, without Dexter. They're big inside. Obviously they have Nunez Roches, who's been, we've known him from his days in Tampa. And they still have a good-sized front, so we've got to be able to handle the interior part of their line, because we also know, as I mentioned earlier, they have a good edge. And so I think that's one of the strengths of their team is their defensive front. That's going to be, I think, one of the big matchups, the key matchups for this game. Listen, they lost a guy like Dexter, but they still do have a number of guys there. And so, we got to be able to handle all those guys. But, I know that's certainly a loss for them.
How would you evaluate Darren Rizzi, what he's done well, and maybe like where there's still room for growth for him going forward?
Yeah, listen, I think last game was probably, a really good snapshot of what Brian can do in terms of the pass rush, right? He's hitting Stafford as he throws it. He gets a big sack later in the game. I know he's up there in terms of sacks, league leaders for interior linemen. I think what Brian and BY have done, over the course of this last month or so is really tried to hone in on his run stops, his run game, his first and second down stuff. Listen, Brian's a really, really good interior pass rusher. I don't think anybody's ever going to deny that part of it. I think as you get older and you mature, we have Brian as a really young guy, age-wise. And so the talent is there. I think, perfecting your craft and working on all the technique stuff, hand placement, leverage, gap control, those are some of the things he could still get better at on first and second down. He'd be the first guy to tell you that. And so that's why, the film study and the practice and the technique, the sled work with BY, all that stuff's the stuff, because he's got the ability to become a very, very good three-down player in this league, and he's already shown that.
Looking back at how successful he's been with y'all, why do you think Valdez-Scantling was available for you guys to get mid-season, and were you surprised that a guy like that was available?
Yeah, you see that, Catherine, sometimes with a lot of veteran players, that are kind of the guys that have been around the league. I can't speak for other teams on why he didn't fit their particular role. But, listen, I just saw like Jamal Adams sign with somebody. Like there's some good veteran guys that are out there at this time, and teams have to decide, whether they want to go young or veteran guys. So I think circumstances sometimes kind of dictate that based on what teams got. Oh, listen, all I know is I'm glad we got him. I'm glad he was available. I'm glad our personnel department, great job by the pro personnel department of getting him in the building. He's been nothing but a pleasure to work with. He's working hard. And so it's been nothing but a positive experience so far with us. So it's hard for me to speak on other teams, but about other teams rather. But I have seen that in the past where there's some really good veteran guys that are out there. Those are, we had that list every year of every position of veteran players that are available. And like I said, I'm sure glad we got them.
How would you describe where the locker room is right now after the setback? Do you feel a bounce back this week?
Yeah, listen, I think one of the best things today, and Monday and today, was I don't feel anything different from what I felt the last few weeks. Our guys are in a really positive space. I think a big question for us this week is how do we respond? How do we handle, there's an area, listen, I told our guys this morning in the team meeting, we've lost our last 4 road games. That's not a secret. We've lost our last 2 road games that we played outdoors. That's not a secret. These are facts. And how do we handle, we didn't handle it very well in prior to when we lost the game. We didn't respond very well. We kind of let it snowball and kind of got that domino effect. So I think it's a big week for us in regards to a lot of those things. We're on the road. We're going to play in the elements. We haven't responded well to losses. One of the things this week's going to be our second half performance. That's one of the things we got to get better at. We've been way too many peaks and valleys coming out at halftime. Our third quarter hasn't been great. So those are the things we're kind of focused on right now. And I haven't seen a dip in our locker room whatsoever. Our leadership's been great. Our attitude's been great. Thought we had a great practice outside today. So that's really just to focus on is on getting better at those things. All right, guys. Appreciate you. You got it.
He's another good player. Anytime you can get guys back off of injury, it just helps your team. And so adding another good player is never a bad thing. His vision, his downhill running, his ability to make people miss in the hole on the perimeter, even dating back to last year, has always been impressive. So I think that like I said, you add a good player, it's a good thing for your team.
Do you feel a locker room bounce back after the setback? How would you describe sort of where the team is right now?
Yeah, I thought we had a really good day today, and that's usually the tell. When you look at guys' faces in the locker room, you look at their eyes in the huddle, you watch them from a distance, how they're working an individual. I've learned so much from just doing that, and I was excited to see how we worked. We still got things to play for. We still got opportunities ahead of us, and New York, is up this week, and so they got a good defense, and we have our work cut out for us. So our guys came in locked in, focused, and thought we had a good day at practice.
When you say things to play for and opportunities ahead of you, obviously, there's still the division out there, nothing's settled yet. How much does that help, I guess, going through the mood of the week, knowing that there still is, even no matter what the odds are, there's still something out there?
Yeah, I was taught, even let's say there wasn't, I was taught that, any day in this league you get to put that jersey on, you should go out there and be thankful for it, and you should show it in your play, at least in your effort, and the way you do your work during the week and things like that. We're so blessed to be able to do this for a living, and so the fact that we are, still have an opportunity, to do certain things and all that kind of stuff is cool, but for us, like I said all year, like I believe in this team. We have a good football team, and our focus has been really good all year, even through the hard times, and it's been really good this week because we know we got a challenge against New York that we have to go get a win.
Darren Rizzi, going back to New Jersey, do you feel that at all? I know obviously you can't focus on that in any way, but do you feel that from him at all, what this means to him to go back home, as an NFL head coach kind of thing?
To be honest, he was the exact same to us today. All week he's been the same. He's been fiery, brings a lot of energy, and is a great motivator and a great teacher. And so, I honestly didn't think about that till right now, because he was the exact same all day today.
How difficult, I know it's probably an obvious question, but how difficult will it be to try to replace the production that Taysom has on the field for you guys, and how do you try to do it?
Yeah. You don't just replace a Taysom Hill, So it's another challenge for us, and you can do one of two things: you can quit, or you can be up for the challenge, and fight. And so our guys came in ready to fight, excited about that. But you don't just replace Taysom. He means so much to us just as a person, let alone his play. Just the kind of teammate and kind of friend he is. Means more than even his play, and that's saying something. So you don't just replace him, but we'll see.
Is there anybody who can do what he does, like from the Wildcat position? Yeah,
we do have a couple guys, and whether we do that or not, we'll see. Don't want to give all the secrets away, but yeah, we do have a few guys that can do those things in a different role or different kind of way, and things like that. Now, it remains to be seen if we do those things or not, but it's definitely something teams would still have to prepare for sure.
You're arguing to run the quarterback powers yourself, right?
I told McVay the same thing. Yeah, on the sideline. Yeah.
This could decrease your chances of catching your first.
100% could. It could. Me and Taysom, we talked about those moments. Hopefully one day having that. This it does decrease, but we have a couple guys that can still throw, so that's a good sign for me.
We haven't talked to you since you reviewed tape on Monday. Was there anything on that last play that you saw that you wish could have given it a chance or anything?
I mean, the routes, we had a single high beater on one side, a two high beater on the left. We knew if we got single high, we were going to can the side on the left to make it a max protection so I could have time to go through that read. And we ended up just not getting it done. And that ended up, just being the case. So, can we go back and second guess, be like, well, we could have done this or this, but we don't. Before you call your play, you don't know what they're going to be in. You don't know what we're going to be in. You have to call plays and read them out. And I still thought it was a good play. I still thought we had an opportunity to hit Juwan in the end zone.
Hey, Derek, I assume you may have talked to Taysom. Can you give us a sense of like what his, just kind of how he's handling what he's doing?
With a smile on his face, which is what we would all assume Taysom would do, right? I know he's human. I know it hurts. I know it stings. It hurt all of us, and again, not from a football aspect, but just because of the violence of our game, and he's a husband and he's a dad way before he's a football player, and so that part's hard for anybody. But he's in good spirits, from when I saw him right after the game, and I'll reach out to him throughout the week, make sure he's still gets a laugh or two, from us, and all those things. But also, there was a time there where you got to give somebody a couple days. I remember when I got hurt, and I shared this with Alec Ingold one year. Kobe said, "You earn the right to feel upset for a couple days, and then it's time to get over it and dominate recovery." And so I've kind of been that way with guys, where I just kind of give them their time to feel a certain way, and then encourage them and try and motivate them, to be their best when they come back. And so I really believe in that, but I believe in him, and he's doing good.
What you talk about the Giants defense when you look at them on film?
I'm sorry?
The Giants defense. What
Yeah.
you talk about?
Yeah, their pass rush, they've been really good against the pass. Their linebackers run and hit, sideline, punch the ball out. Secondary, has some explosive athletes, able to make plays on the football. And yeah, I mean, they're hungry, they're hungry just like we are. You can tell on the tape, but great pass rush, great D-line. And anytime you have that in this league, you have a chance. And so, Burns, I've played against, Thibodeau, I've played against these guys, and I know what they're all about. They're really, really good players in our league, and top tier. So we got our work cut out for us for sure. But excited about the challenge of going against them, in their place.
What's your experience in cold weather games? Obviously, Kansas City probably a couple times, right?
Yeah, I've played in Kansas, played in New York multiple times. I don't know, 4 or 5. I don't know the exact number. And there's things now that I learned some things like the last 3 years that you can do in the cold that helps, to where you just feel good. Before that, I was just going out there having no idea, about certain things. But you learn tricks as you get older and different things. So, now it's just about playing the game. They got so much stuff nowadays that, you're just playing football.
Does your preparation does change a little just to get ready, obviously?
Nothing that I do during the week, besides rolling my windows down on the way here, in the mornings. But, besides that, no. I mean, you try to do little things mentally and things like that. But, you prepare for the game, and then when you get out there, I always had a coach tell me, if you let it affect you, it will. And so you just go out there and you just got to play. Good. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Yep.